tree of knowledge, it's outside knowledge. I read it, I heard it, someone told me. You know what the tree of life is? I also know what's right and what's wrong. Oh, but it's so deep inside. How would it sound to you? Last night I was so angry, I wanted to kill somebody, but then I remembered Moses on Mount Sinai said, you shouldn't kill us. I respect his teachings. How sound to you? You mean inside you're a murderer? Inside you could kill somebody? And here comes the deepest thought in the world. Before Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, their knowledge came from the highest place in the world. They were so connected. They were so connected to heaven. Sure, they had choice. Do you know that every Shabbos I have choice to take a taxi and drive to a Chinese restaurant and meet my girlfriend there? I have choice. But I really don't, right? I really don't. Do you know something? I have choice to go to Rome and become a bishop. Yeah, literally, physically, I have choice. But I don't, right? You see, God gave Adam free choice, but it was like the choice, I have to become a bishop, right? Because I can't. Sadly enough, after the age of tree of knowledge, everything good and holy became outside of them. It wasn't inside anymore. A big rabbi said unbelievable Torah. I mean, explaining this the deepest way. He says the question is, how do you talk to yourself? You know what most people say? I have to eat. I have to sleep. I need money. Then they talk to yourself. You have to be a Jew. You have to keep Shabbos, right? When it comes to anything holy, they talk to themselves with you, right? When it comes to eating like a dog, it's I, right? Before the tree of knowledge, it was the other way around. I have to be holy. I have to do this. You have to eat, right? The moment Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, suddenly it was, I'm eating. You have to listen to me. One more very deep thing. When you do something wrong, who tells you that you do wrong? It's a deep Torah. Again, God forbid, I hurt Ethel's feelings, and then the next day read the Reader's Digest that you're not permitted to hurt people's feelings. I call up Esther, you know, I'm so sorry, I just read this unbelievable article. And how does it sound to you? You know what Adam says to God? I heard your voice. I heard your voice, not my voice. Me, it didn't bother. Yeah, I heard God doesn't like you. The voice that you cut off. Are you cut off from your inside? It's all outside stuff. It's all outside. You know what death is? It doesn't mean you don't live for 200 years. Adam lived for 1,000 years. It's all outside. All outside. You know what the saddest thing in the world is? Cain and Abel are two brothers, right? Outside brothers. All outside stuff. Heartbreaking. So here comes the fixing. The fixing is, went slowly. The fixing began with Noah. You know what the flood is? The outside of the outside of the outside of the outside. Not only I have choice, I can do anything I want to. You know, Adam says to God, I heard your voice. So the people of God says, I want to cut it out. I don't want to hear it. I'm not interested. I'm turning off that radio station. Noah says to them, you know, God is really angry with you. He wants to wipe you out. I'm not interested in that. It's all because of the tree of knowledge. Noah is already better. Noah is the Kim Salech Noah means Noah, at least he heard God's voice. It was not from the inside of the inside yet. I want you to know why was water? You know what water is? How does water make the earth grow? You know what water is? It gets into the inside of the inside. You put water, it goes inside. Put a little water on the earth, it sinks that way. And if you remember, the Gemara says, Zerkush says, but Noah in the ark was shocking like crazy. Because basically the water was telling him, Noah, basically you should also drown. But God told us not to drown you. And I want you to know the deepest depths. Why did Noah, you know, it's crazy. Noah had 120 years to make the world better. God told him to build an ark, 120 years. People would see him build the ark and he would tell them, hey, what's happening? Reserve seats only tonight. I do that. Hey, don't fall. Can you imagine Noah in 120 years didn't make one Baal Tshuva? Not one person? Avraham Avinu made thousands a day and he could in 120 years. You know why? Because Noah is still outside. Noah is still outside. You know what Noah says? Noah didn't say to us, you know what, inside you're so holy. Why is your outside cut off from your inside? When you want to make a person better, you start from outside, start from inside. You know what the difference between medication and food? It's very simple. Food works from outside to inside. Medication, especially injection, what's an injection? Put it right into your bloodstream, right? Right inside. Inside, right? Noah had no words for inside. So he thinks on the outside they are bad. So they're bad, nothing you can do. Why did Avraham say to God, when Avraham heard God wants to destroy Sodom, he says, give me 50 tzaddikim, give me 50 holy people, I'll change the whole city. Give me 10. Let's put it this way. Why are we believing that one day the Messiah is coming? And why are we the one who told the world one day there'll be peace in the world? Because we know that inside, the tree of life tells us inside people are so good. Maybe the outside is rotten to the core. Just the outside. Inside. Inside. So you see, Noah at least, he heard God's voice. God's voice, not his own voice. I want you to know something else. The Medrash says when God spoke to Abraham, how did God sound? So the Medrash says it sounded like his own voice. His own voice. Inside of the inside. Imagine I woke up to a girl and say, you know, I love you very much because my mother told me to love you. It's cute, right? I mean, if she's stupid, she might marry him, but hope not. Inside. So you hear, my beautiful friends, you know what knows knowledge is? Inside of the inside. So you know in Sochat Shuvah, by the holy Sochat Shuvah, when people came to ask him for his blessing, he wouldn't look at them when a new person came in. The rabbi would sit there with closed eyes and inhale the air. And then, if he would like that person, they would shake hands. And if you didn't like the person, you would just bless them, but they would shake hands. I want you to know the inside knowledge, inside. This is neshama knowledge, not head knowledge. And I want you to know this month, Menashe, is the same letters like neshama, right? Menashe, right? It's neshama. That the fixing of the word is, you know, what is a soul person? A soul person, a neshama person is somebody, something else. And one more very important thing. The more outside a person is, the more they're separate from another person. I mean, can you imagine how much outside the people of the flood was? When I walk on the street, I see somebody else with a beautiful wife. I kill the man, I take the wife. This was like going on the street. The time of the world was just, God knocked out the world because it didn't eat kosher. It was the lowest. The lowest. Absolute people had no rights. Everyone was doing what they wanted. Nothing right. You don't exist. I'm the only person who exists. What's a neshama person? The neshama person is, and here I want you to know what water is all about? This is mamash, the deepest. Water has no plural. In English there's water and waters. In Hebrew there's only mine. Do you know that, have you ever seen water? Take one drop of water, you pour another drop over it, the first drop moves aside, make place for the second drop. Water, one drop is so much for the other drop. Water is always two drops. The marble was just, and here you hear what it is. When a person smells bad, God forbid. What happens physically when a person smells bad? Washes. The closest to smell is water. Let me ask something else. You can go to a Chinese restaurant that tastes good. Does anything taste better than fresh water in Switzerland, in the mountains? Something else, right? Because it's heavenly. It is heavenly. And here I want you to open your hearts and I'll tell you this from the Swastiamis. You know the difference between wine and water? Very simple. Water, it's only good when it's fresh, when it's the way it is untouched by human hands. You know what the mikveh is all about? It is water untouched. The moment it's touched, it's not good for mikveh anymore. Wine is the other way around. The more you work on it, the better the wine tastes. And the older it gets, the better it is. Now listen to this. Do you know on Sukkot we're pouring out water over the altar. You know what water is all about? Until Yom Kippur, hey, wow. How you doing, brother? Until Yom Kippur, I thought, I have to work so hard to be a Yid. I have to work so hard to be a mensch, like wine. That means basically I'm not. I have to work so hard. What happens to me after Yom Kippur? I realize on the contrary, the way I am, if I would only shut out the outside, the way I am, what? Oh, is that good? You know, imagine, you know, I'm always telling my friends, you know there are two things God is teaching us in heaven before we are born. Let me ask you, I, at the privilege of being present, a woman had a baby, and the first thing she did, she told the baby 2 things. Will you please love me? Let's go, you know. And then she said to the baby, I want you to cry. Because it says in all the books, the first sign of a good baby is it cries. Have you ever heard this? You don't have to tell a baby to cry, and you don't have to teach a baby how to love. Because these are 2 things which are so heavenly. Only God can give it to you. That means God could not send a neshama to this world without teaching the baby about. Does anybody love anybody the way a baby loves its mother? I will have to be believed. Have to be believed. Until Nebuch later on, Nebuch, you know, was forcing down the chicken soup down the throat, so slowly the baby loves a little less, right? But the way it's coming out from heaven, right? So you hear, friends, water is gewalt, right? So water says to Noach, you're also a separate person. You're not one with your generation. You're not one with your generation. Because if you would be one, how come you couldn't turn anybody on? And I want you to know something, the deepest. You cannot turn anybody onto Yiddishkeit if you're separate from them. Unless you're one with them. Yeah, you can turn on the outside. But how long does it last? You know what death is? It doesn't last. It doesn't last. But then comes Avraham Avinu, right? Avinu is something else. So here, friends, after Noah came out from the flood, then he thought he's already the master of wine also. You know what he wanted to do? He thought, you know, I'm good inside. It means I don't have to work. Are you wrong? Gewalt, you have to work. Because the real truth is, you need both. Yeah, I'm Gewalt inside, but unless you work hard, the water gets polluted, the water gets dirty, and you smell bad again. You see, it's crazy. If you don't wash for a week, you smell bad. Well, I say, listen, water, I had water last week. Now you need water all the time. You need water all the time. You need wine all the time. You need to work all the time, all the time. Anyway, just want you to know. You know, sadly enough, when you cut yourself off from heaven, it takes so long to reconnect yourself. It takes so long. I tell you what, last week, I took a cab to Penn Station, New York. And he's a cute taxi driver, but never. He doesn't know. So 1 second, he wasn't careful, he made the wrong turn. Do you know how long it took us to get back? 45 minutes, and I missed the train. One turn. This is heartbreaking. You know, we always think, I did something wrong, I'll fix it. Yeah, you can fix it. It takes so long. Give out, it takes so long. And you see Noah, when he came out from the flood, he said, oh, now, there's a new world. It doesn't need fixing anymore. You're wrong. Even you need fixing. You need also fixing. But you sure Achnoach came with the same Noah? I mean, you go through a Holocaust and you're the same? I don't want to say anything bad. You know, what's wrong with all the people today who have so much interest in the Holocaust? You know what the problem is? It's all outside stuff. Not inside. It's not inside stuff. I don't say anything too bad. I'm giving a concert at the university, and they have Holocaust studies. And this lady who's teaching literature of the Holocaust is a very beautiful lady outside. In the middle of the concert, she's going to make an announcement. Good. It's very charming, you know. See pictures. But the beauty color is fresh lipstick, like water, you know, not like wine from yesterday, but not fresh. The level of water. Anyway, and she goes on stage and she says, anybody here would like to sign up for the Holocaust? She meant Holocaust studies. What kind of words? Where are the tears? Where are the tears? What's going on there? It's all outside stuff. You know what it is? You know what the tree of knowledge is? Death. That suddenly we are more concerned with death than with life. Everybody talks about death, right? Everybody talks about the past. Come on, buddy. You know what it is? Why all the Yidden running for Maske Neshamas? For more service. My Bob is dead. I got him on to shul. I lost my position because of that one time. My first teller. I said to the Yidden, that's right, so cute, you're all coming in for your dead bobbers. What about your living children? I said, you think your bobber needs you? She's a an angel, was a sweet lady. She'll be okay. But look at your children, the way they grow up. They're the cutest kids in the world, you don't teach them anything. So the board meeting decided that they didn't like my... Anyway, Malos Abshan. Imagine, God forbid, I would have not lost the position. I would have maybe never started playing guitar, you know. Mm-hmm. Now I owe them my future. So you see, friends, what it is. I want you to open your hearts again. Why did he make the golden calf? The golden calf, everything happened with the tree of knowledge, because it wasn't fixed yet. Do you know you can stand before God and hear every word? And still doesn't reach you. Still doesn't reach you. You know, friends, how much you have to mamish, pray and cry and turn yourself over 1,000 times. Master of the world, let me have the privilege. Let me have the privilege that the Torah should reach the deepest depths of my heart. So you know what we're doing? I want you to open your heart. On Yom Kippur, God gives us the Torah again. But you know what? You can learn the Torah again on the level of tree of knowledge. So I'm sitting in the sukkah. You know what the sukkah is? I connect myself to Allah. In the sukkah, I'm completely surrounded by heavenly knowledge. The man Yedidel Sechem. In the sukkah, I don't want to learn the Torah which resulted in a golden calf. I want to be completely surrounded by different Torah. And what's the first sign? The first sign is that in the sukkah, the Gemara says, God wants all of Israel to sit in one sukkah. I want all of Israel to sit in one sukkah. Then I want you to know something even deeper. Even deeper. Do you know on Sukkot we're bringing 70 sacrifices to fix the world? You know, it's very beautiful. Rav Kook says an unbelievable Torah. We learned it 1,000 times. It's very beautiful we're angry at the world, right? Why aren't we angry to ourselves sometimes? What are we doing for the world? What are we doing? You know, the deepest terror in the world, Cain killed Hevel, right? But Brother Hevel, you saw never Cain wants to bring a sacrifice, he does not to do it. Why didn't you walk up to him and say, listen, Brother Hevel, Cain, I'd love to teach you. You have one brother and you think he wants to serve God, does not to do it. How can you walk away? So you're also murdered. You're also murdered. You know, Mamish, it's one of the things which hurts me the most. So we're angry at the world for being anti-Semite. What kind of messages are we sending out to the world? Now, I don't say that all anti-Semites can be fixed. I'm sure that a lot of, the real ones, we don't need, right? I'm talking about the world. You know, I told you, Shalom, it was heartbreaking. One, without mentioning names of places, one church during the war in Lebanon sent $500,000, $1 million to Israel. Then they said, please send us a messenger from Israel. So they sent a young officer to explain to them the strategy of the Lebanon war. This is what they wanted. They need the Amshnover Rebbe to go there. They wanted to hear a word from God. The Dvar Hashem Yerushalayim. You see, Cain wants to kill us, but he's not stupid. He's angry. Never gave him the message. So on Sukkot, while we're sitting in the Sukkah, now we should fix the world. But then comes Simchas Torah. Simchas Torah is the deepest. You know, friends, I can know every word of the Torah, and it's still on the level of tree of knowledge. It's outside knowledge. It's Kol Choshemati. I heard God's voice. What's about your own? What's about your own? What do you think? What do you really think? And again, friends, it takes so long until God's voice becomes my voice, my inside voice. So the fixed thing is on Simchas Torah. Torah, I take out the Torah. I'm not reading it. I'm just one with the Torah. Oh, the Torah is so good. You know, friends, when I receive a business letter, I don't know what it says until I read it. When I get a love letter, even before I read it, I know what it says. And I'm dancing with the envelope. And Simchas Torah, we are so much one with God. I don't have to read it. I know every word. I know every word. You know, the Gemara says when the baby is in its mother's womb, Mamash, they teach the baby the whole Torah. Then the baby comes out, forgets it, but then you have to learn the Torah again, not on the level of Reader's Digest or a study group, Jewish studies, or advanced Talmud. I saw this unbelievable cartoon. Old rabbis, new rabbis. Old rabbis, Talmud, advanced Talmud. New rabbis, fundraising, advanced fundraising. I wish it would be a joke, but it's true, you know. You hear, friends? On Simchas Torah, I'm mamish one with the Torah. And how do you know that you're one with the Torah? That mamish all the Yidden dance together. You hear on Sukkot, I'm a little bit getting better, but it's still, I say to you, you know, you're not so frum, you're not over. I'm an Esrik, obviously. And the other one is a Lulav, a Dasa, but... And here comes the deepest Torah in the world. What is between Sukkot and Simchas Torah? What's happening? But you know something? There are certain things I can say with words, and then there are certain things I can say with actions, and then there are certain things that are so deep. They're just there. Deeper than anything in the world. Deeper than anything. You know what kind of the Torah I receive on Simchas Torah? The deepest Torah in the world. Deepest Torah, inside. And I want you to know something.